Toyota reveals the new team that will effectively replace Kyle Busch Motorsports. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch may have just found a new sponsor on Twitter, and North Wilkesboro ticket prices have certainly rubbed some the wrong way. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Busy news day. Before we get to everything though, this episode is sponsored by my friends at Across the Board. Across the Board has an all-new NASCAR-themed racing game. It's simple and easy to play, great for small groups of 2 or 3 or even larger groups of 10 or 20. It's the perfect game for the next time you're tailgating. All of Across the Board's games are made in America, handcrafted in St. Louis. It's a family-owned company. If you want to check out Across the Board NASCAR Racing Edition, head to their website. That link is down in the description below. And be sure to use code OOTG for free shipping at checkout. Be sure to check out all the other fun games Across the Board has featured on their website as well. Thanks to Across the Board for sponsoring this episode. And while I'm thinking about it, huge thank you to them for participating in last night's Groovy Hollow 2 iRacing charity event. They had a really nice looking paint scheme. And speaking of that event, I want to extend a huge thank you to all of you who watched and especially those of you who donated. We hit our goal just before the final restart. We raised over $12,600 last night for Extra Life and the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. That more than doubled our total from last season, so really exciting to see how this event has grown and evolved. I'm already excited for Groovy Hollow 3 next October. Now, let's begin with some breaking news. Earlier this morning, David Gilliland Racing confirmed that they will switch to Toyota next season and introduced an all-new rebrand. DGR will now be known as Tricon Garage, Toyota's all-new truck series operation. Taylor Gray will drive the 11, Tanner Gray will drive the 15, Corey Heim will drive the 17, and then the one truck will be used as sort of an all-star truck for various drivers. Both Grays and Corey Heim will be full-time. I think Taylor Gray won't race actually until like the 3rd or 4th race of the season because he's not 18 yet, so I'm not sure how that will work for points. NASCAR will probably give him a playoff waiver. It feels like they give everyone a waiver these days. One note I found interesting is that many familiar KBM sponsors are moving to Tricon. JBL, Mobile One, Safelite, Sirius XM. These are all Toyota vendors, Toyota partners that were largely helping fund KBM, with KBM moving to Chevy, or we don't know the future of KBM. Point is, it won't be a Toyota team. Toyota is basically taking their investment and putting it into DGR, which is now Tricon Garage. I kind of like the name. The more I say it out loud, the more it kind of grows on me. Maybe it's just the word garage. I like that. I'm so used to everything being blank motorsports, blank racing, garage. Kind of like it. I mentioned that the one truck will now feature various drivers throughout the season. Yes, this confirms Haley Deegan is out of a ride at DGR. She's a Ford driver. Deegan is still TBA on her plans for next season. Of course, she made her Xfinity Series debut a couple weeks ago, finished a very respectable 13th at Las Vegas. It sounds like she's trying to put an Xfinity deal together for next season, but like I said, TBA, no announcements are imminent. Big picture, Ford is losing a fairly competitive truck series program. Toyota is gaining one. There's not much else to say. I've been saying all along that Toyota losing Kyle Busch, I don't think is a huge deal. The biggest deal in the whole Kyle Busch saga was losing M&Ms, was losing Mars. That's $20+ million annually that the team used to be able to count on that they couldn't count on anymore. That was the biggest deal in this whole thing. That's not to say Kyle Busch isn't a great race car driver. You'd love to keep Kyle Busch there. You hate the bad PR that came with, having to let him walk away. But when it comes to Toyota's development system, it seemed pretty clear early on that there was going to be a replacement in the works for KBM. It's annoying having to move some pieces around and rebrand things and get used to working with completely different people. Sure, it's not going to be the most seamless transition, but basically Toyota just goes from funding one program to funding another. Now, yes, they've lost Chandler Smith in this whole deal. Chandler Smith's going to Chevy. Colleague Racing, you hate to lose him. He's shown flashes of brilliance this season. We don't know what John Hunter Nemechek's future looks like. JGR has yet to announce their Xfinity lineup for next season. Toyota's going to be fine as far as their development system is concerned. I've never really been worried about them having enough seats for everybody. At this point, it's just retaining your drivers. Chandler Smith, Kyle Busch, Brandon Jones. Focus on that. The team stuff was always going to work itself out. You got to keep your drivers and sponsors, of course, but I feel like that's a separate discussion from just finding a KBM replacement. Toyota has one, Tricon Garage. Speaking of Kyle Busch, one question I've been asked a ton, either in YouTube comments, live streams, Twitter. Eric, who do you think could step up and sponsor Kyle Busch next season, whether that's in a JGR car or now with RCR? And as you would expect, I haven't had any good answers for that. But last night on Twitter, Kyle Busch himself may have found a potential answer. I just want to talk about this real quick because I think it's kind of funny. These Twitter threads began last night when USA Network put this tweet out asking which driver gives out the best Halloween candy. It's just some fun themed banter for social media. Then randomly, Sling TV's official Twitter account slid into the replies saying, if the Candyman doesn't hand out full-size candy bars, we have a problem. Obviously referencing Kyle Busch. Now, Kyle Busch saw that reply and quote tweeted his own, if you don't sling me a sponsorship, we have a problem. I like it, clear, concise, straight to the point. Well, Sling replied to Kyle Busch. Sling number 8 Chevy Camaro when? And a fan replied, let the concepts begin. And that's when Sling tagged talented designer Lefty Designs, and asked Lefty, can you help us out? Well, Lefty, of course, was happy to oblige, and he tweeted out this Sling number 8 concept. Very clean, very sleek, and Sling agreed, tweeting, this man understood the assignment. Love it. Then to wrap up this whole sequence of tweets, Kyle Busch replied with, well, that was easy. The classic easy button. What was that? Was that from like Staples commercials back in the day? Where did the easy button come from? Was it Office Depot? Gosh, one of the most recognizable marketing campaigns of all time, and I can't even remember who it was. Anyway, as far as I can tell, that's where it ends. Will this amount to anything real? Maybe, maybe not. I've seen sponsor deals come to reality through just random Twitter back and forths before, but for someone as high profile as Kyle Busch, driving for a top team in the NASCAR Cup Series, it's a little more rare. A lot of times these deals happen behind the scenes, hush hush behind closed doors, but it's 2022. Social media has a lot of power, for better or for worse. Kyle Busch maybe the beneficiary in this case. We'll have to wait and see. A great looking paint scheme that Lefty designed. I'd love to see that on the track next year. That'd be pretty cool. I do want to end with one more story. This one's a little more volatile. I feel like we might have two different sides on this one. Earlier this week, North Wilkesboro Speedway provided an update regarding ticket sales for next year's NASCAR All-Star Race weekend. Ticket pre-sales are available right now, I believe, to people who donated to Speedway Children's Charities a few months ago. Remember that whole day where the demand basically crashed the website for most users? I believe those pre-sales are going on right now. North Wilkesboro Speedway also said that random Wilkes County residents will be given the opportunity to purchase weekend packages ahead of time or $99 infield general admission tickets to the Cup race on Sunday. I'm not sure if that's going on right this second, but it probably is, because on November 2nd, I guess that's next week, tickets to the general public will officially go on sale. A couple of facts jumped out at everyone this week. One, the only NASCAR tickets available will be full weekend tickets, 3-day passes that get you in for all practice sessions, the Truck Series race, both the All-Star Open and the All-Star race itself, as well as a couple of concerts, which I don't think artists have been announced yet. Those tickets start at $299 each, and from what I could see, go up to $399 for, I guess, the best seats. Those prices have sparked quite the debate on social media. I've seen tons of drivers, industry personnel, just fans debating these prices, these numbers on Twitter, especially the last couple of days. One tweet in particular I saw was kind of making the rounds earlier this week, came from Robbie Lyons. He tweeted, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around how an average income family of 4 is supposed to afford $1,600 tickets. I'm sorry, $1,600 for a reservation to get a seat assignment sometime next year? Not even factoring in the cost of lodging, travel, and food. I like Robbie Lyons. I don't mean to inadvertently put him on blast or anything like that. I agree. These ticket prices are a little expensive. In particular, being forced to buy a 3-day weekend ticket is kind of annoying to me. Like, what if you just want to buy tickets for Sunday? Yeah, they may be $150, $180, but I'd like to have that as an option. I think many other fans would as well. I also agree with Robbie that not knowing your exact seat is kind of a turnoff. Not a deal breaker or anything. He also mentions travel, and yes, getting to North Wilkesboro if you don't live in the area is going to be a hassle. Just doing a couple quick Google searches, if you want to stay at a hotel, you're probably going to have to stay at least an hour away in like Winston-Salem or Hickory or closer to Charlotte, and even then you're still going to be paying at least $100, $200 a night for any of the more decent chain hotels. So I agree with Robbie and many other fans who shared similar sentiments on social media this week that these ticket prices are a little expensive. Not the most fan-friendly, I would suggest. $300 for really 3 races, if you include the All-Star Open. You get all the practice and qualifying. I know practice and qualifying is a little more abbreviated these days, but you get a lot of on-track action. They also say 2 concerts. Don't know who the artists will be. Could be nobodies, could be somebody relevant. I have no clue. It's not terrible. It's not shocking or outlandish. There are people this past weekend in Austin that paid well over $1,000 to go to the F1 race. But what this shows me is that Speedway Motorsports, SMI, they're not exactly sure who to tailor this event towards. Because many of the people I saw speaking out against these prices appeared to be local residents, Wilkes County residents, who likely don't spend a ton of money on concert tickets or sports tickets, or they're not accustomed to spending that kind of money. They're probably not going to NBA games very frequently or NFL games every Sunday. SMI is trying to balance making this a local event aimed specifically at Wilkes County residents who've been without NASCAR at their home track for over 25 years, while also trying to accommodate NASCAR's national audience. The hordes of fans who have heard Dale Earnhardt Jr. revere this track the past few years, who've seen Slapshoes' video, who've played this track on iRacing. SMI's trying to cater to both. They're bringing in temporary seating. They're going to have capacity, I believe, of close to 24,000. That's to accommodate the national audience. Higher ticket prices also make this more of a premium event. Meanwhile, they're giving Wilkes County residents, first look at some of these pre-sale ticket offerings. They're investing in their track once again. I know with the help of government funding for sure, but SMI is still making a pretty serious investment as well. So they're trying to toe that line, but as they're finding out, I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all. NASCAR's not the only series racing at North Wilkesboro once again. I think some people forget this track was completely abandoned for the better part of the last decade until racetrack revival, these recent renovations. If you don't want to pay $300 to go see NASCAR at the facility, Dale Jr. just raced a late model there a few weeks ago. There's CRA, I think Cars Tour is racing there the week leading up to the All-Star race. If you want to get tickets for those races, I'm sure they are much cheaper than $300. And you can still see great stock car racing type action at North Wilkesboro once again. I think there are still some fans out there that are unwilling to accept the fact that NASCAR is a major sport. NASCAR has nationwide appeal, worldwide appeal. It still has its roots primarily in the Southeast, but contrary to what some fans may believe or may want to believe, it's not a small regional sport. Didn't Talladega say a few weeks ago that all 50 states bought tickets to their race, 22 different countries? I may have the numbers slightly wrong, but Talladega? Could the tickets be a little cheaper? Yes, I would prefer them to be a bit cheaper. Back when they first announced this, I said, make this race accessible. I'm glad they didn't go like the MLB Field of Dreams route where hundreds or thousands of dollars per ticket were the norm. It would be nice if there was a cheaper, maybe single one-day option for fans, but I don't know. I'm not quite as outraged as some seem to be. I understand it to an extent, but that doesn't necessarily mean I think it's all entirely justified. I'm just thrilled and surprised still that North Wilkesboro Speedway is back in such a big way. SMI just has to figure out now, is this going to be a local project catered solely to North Wilkesboro racing fans, or are they going to continue to try and accommodate NASCAR's massive appeal? They got to figure that out. Hey, TV pays most of the bills these days, so maybe they could knock those ticket prices down a bit. I doubt they will though, because it's going to sell out. At $300 to $400 a weekend pass, this race is absolutely going to sell out. And if you're selling out, why change anything? I don't know. It is just a business. It's the cold, hard truth of business sometimes. I don't know. Share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Are you from the North Carolina or North Wilkesboro area, and are these ticket prices a total turnoff to you attending NASCAR's return? I'd be curious to hear what you think down in the comment section below. Leave a comment. But that is going to do it for this episode. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down in the comment section below. Ever since our race car reveal yesterday, we've actually seen a pretty big boost in subscriber numbers the past 24 hours. So sponsorship in NASCAR works. We haven't even been on the racetrack yet. So I appreciate all the new viewers. If you're new, hit that button down below so you don't miss any future content. And a big thank you to my Patreon supporters. Can never forget you guys. Y'all are the best. I will see you all again very soon. Thank you for watching this episode. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy, y'all.